This is the funnest night ever!
Quit yanking our anuses!
Two people get together, do something social, have a few drinks, yada yada yada.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
What? You already started?
Welcome to an episode of Two Brothers.
You didn't do your clap.
You coughed, so that was the clap. And welcome to another episode of Two Brothers. I already say that?
Yes, you retard.
And welcome. We're going to be reviewing probably the most anticipated movie
of all time.
No, just at least of the year. And, well, I mean, most anticipated movie in a while for us and for Marvel.
Okay.
And that's Spider-Man No Way Home. We just got done watching it a few hours ago. And we'll probably be uploading this sometime during the weekend. Who knows? So, before we move forward, we will be spoiling the movie.
Okay, coming out the gate.
Not right away. We're going to first give our thoughts. And then I'll tell you when people should stop listening if they don't want to be spoiled. And then
should we though? Should we those people that spoil everything?
Should we? What do you mean?
Like those fucking little dickheads in the internet fucking spoil.
Well, we're giving it a few days. We're not uploading the shit fucking on Friday. I'm uploading it like on Sunday.
On a weekend. Okay.
What do you want to do, dude?
Just come on.
What the fuck do you want to do, huh? Do you not want to talk about... Because you can't talk about this movie without spoiling it.
Yeah, you can.
You really can.
Okay.
Yeah. You're
What?
irritating the shit out of me right now. Okay. Before we spoil the movie, let's give our thoughts. What do you think about Spider-Man No Way Home?
Fuck, this is kind of like a little spoiler for a later episode, but it might be my top maybe 3 movies of the year, man. Like, it became instantly because it has a lot of fan service, has a great story, and takes you to an emotional roller coaster, you know? Mm-hmm. And I loved every minute of it. There was no like slow pace to it or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I really, 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 really loved it. I really had fun.
Damn, you said really a lot.
Really, really, really. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It was really good. I think it's now my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time.
I think so too.
Live action, at least, because like I know a lot of people, they put like Into the Spider-Verse into that list of like the best Spider-Man movies, but in terms of like live action Spider-Man films, Spider-Man 2 was always my favorite, and now that's finally been dethroned with No Way Home, so that should tell you something. Like,
yeah,
it definitely met my expectations, which was I was a bit nervous coming into the movie, especially with everything going around with the rumors and everything. But walking out of that theater, I was just...
I just felt like a kid again, you know? Just enjoy... Like, I felt like, you know, the little kid watching Spider-Man and
I don't think
the villains and all that shit, so...
that I had this kind of experience since Endgame, to be quite honest. And especially with the whole audience, and that's the magic of being in cinemas sometimes, is when you go see a movie like this and the audience reacts at the right moments, they clap at the right moments, they all scream and all that shit. This was one of the best experiences in the movie theaters. And it's great because like I haven't had that since Endgame, and then the whole pandemic happened, and all that shit. And with No Way Home, it was the first time being in a like filled auditorium with people who were as fucking psyched about seeing this movie as I was, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if when we were finding our seats, we sat down, and the guy next to me saw, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we're the first ones, you know, for the day one. You know, we're gonna be. I'm like, yeah, like I was excited too. Like
It's just that the communal experience was.
Oh my god, it's
like,
amazing.
It was reignited again, and
you have to watch this in theaters.
I agree.
To get that same reaction.
It's gonna be a while, especially with opening weekend and everything. So make sure you secure those tickets if you
it's
didn't
gonna be
already.
tough. I know it's gonna.
But definitely go watch it as soon as you can, because there are assholes out there who do spoil it without giving consideration or like a proper warning or anything. So make sure you stay off of Twitter, the internet, or all that shit. And I'm gonna tell you right now, before we continue, don't listen to the rest of this podcast if you don't want the rest of the movie spoiled for you, because it's I've been seeing a lot of reviewers talk about this. It's very hard for them to discuss why they enjoy this movie without spoiling it, and I agree. And so that's why this is the warning. Get off now if you don't want to hear about No Way Home or spoilers and nothing
like that. Yeah,
because there's no way for us to talk about this movie without spoiling it. So I'm gonna give it like a 5-second pause. And that was your 5-second pause. All right. So now let's actually get into why this movie is fucking good. Before we get into the good shit, let's talk about the villains.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen a better list of villains in a Spider-Man movie that were all done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of like the Lizard, and like Sandman.
Those two, they were like the weakest.
Yeah, you can tell that they were just.
They were there.
They were just there. But dude, Green Goblin,
Doc
Ock, and Electro were so.
Those stand out.
They were so good, and William Dafoe, Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, they all fucking killed it. Especially William Dafoe, he was such a threatening like villain in this movie. He was so fucking menacing.
Yeah.
You know, like when they were fighting in the apartment and everything, he was kicking Spider-Man's ass, man. You know, like you could just tell like he's out for a fucking on a mission.
Yeah, he's on a mission.
You know? He's not just this fucking like the villain from the original Spider-Man. Like, no, he has
2.0.
He's a 2.0. I was kind of surprised that he kind of destroyed his helmet.
Yeah.
I was really wanting to see more of that because it looks fucking sick.
We only saw it for like maybe 10 seconds.
Yeah, maybe 10 seconds, which is like you see it in the trailer and that's it. Doc Ock.
Was fucking cool.
I never thought I would ever see Alfred Molina as Doc Ock again.
Yeah.
And so to see him come back was like a breath of fresh air, you know? Because to me, he's one of the best villains in like Marvel movie history.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he challenged Spider-Man and like Peter Parker more than I've seen any other villain before. Like, you know, you got your fucking Joker and the Killmonger. And
okay, yeah.
I feel like he kind of...
Did you say Joker?
Yeah, because he's like one of the best like comic villains. You know, I'm talking about comic book villains.
Oh, okay.
You know? He kind of, what's the word? Like, he was a precursor to that.
Yeah.
You know, he was one of the best villains. So to see him was pretty refreshing. What about you? What about the villains that you liked or like, you know, that you just gushed over?
To me, it had to be Green Goblin. Like you said, he was fucking menacing.
Yeah.
And you knew his intentions right away, even though he tried to be
like a good guy.
Good guy, you know.
And you can kind of see through that a little bit.
Yeah, But him, yeah, if you want a villain, he's the villain of the.
He's definitely the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
Because what he ends up doing
Is
pretty. That makes him the fucking villain.
Jesus. Yeah.
I don't know, man. The more I'm thinking about it, I was like, wow. Yeah, he really did some fucking destruction to Peter Parker's life.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, we'll touch on some of the more spoilerly stuff. The story was just right out the gate. Picks up right after Far From Home.
Yeah.
And it just it keeps the momentum going.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're just like in it, you know? That was one of the things you said you were kind of worried about, was that there was going to be too much like downtime, or that there was going to be long stretches of like just slow pacing. No, it just picks up right after Far From Home. His Peter's identities Spider-Man's identity is revealed. And you're just taken to this like much more darker place than you've seen in the previous Spider-Man films. You know, like he has to deal with the weight of all of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Well, what about you? What do you think of the story? How it was paced or structured?
If you think about it, yeah, he's trying to get rid of people knowing his identity, but he's trying to help his friends also, and the people around him that also got affected by it, by what happened with Mysterio and all that, the aftermath. And yeah, he for that moment he only thought about himself, anything about anyone else. Yeah, basically. And that just boils down to what he wanted to help his friends and family,
his loved ones, basically.
To forget he's Spider-Man, but there's consequences with that.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was great.
It was good. Yeah, it was. You feel the weight of this shit on his shoulders, you know.
But within the 20 minutes of the film, he's taken to jail, he's being charged and all that. MJ, Ned, and what's her
Peter?
No,
Mary Jane.
No, Aunt May. I can't believe I forgot her name.
Oh.
And they keep talking about lawyers and lawyers. They gotta get your lawyers.
Yeah, I was like, I want to speak to my lawyer, and it was kind of like, all right, come on, let's get to it.
And fuck, man, when he
you see his cane.
When his cane shows, everyone
lost their shit.
We did too.
Me too. It was like the first, like, here it is. Here's your first fan service. Here's the first big reveal.
Seeing him back as Daredevil,
Matt Murdock returns,
was amazing, but at the same time,
short-lived.
Yeah,
he was only there for about a good maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and that was it. But I don't care, man. Him being there was just enough. Talking about like how much we love Daredevil and how it ended with season 3, mm-hmm. to finally see him reprise his role as Matt Murdock was just. I don't care if it was 2 minutes. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
And I liked how the Rock was like tossed to the wind. He just grabs it. And everyone was just looking at him. She was like, how'd you do that? I was like, I'm a really good lawyer. So it sets up some things there for the future. I know that a lot of people are talking about Hawkeye, which we haven't watched, or we're going to review it and we're going to watch it. Yeah. Well, a lot of rumors about certain Daredevil villains returning in that show. So, yeah, man, Matt Murdock shows up in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
10, 15, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. It's like this sets the fucking the precedent, you know. And as the movie continues, Peter goes to Doctor Strange, and we get introduced to Doctor Strange, which is awesome to see Doctor Strange more on screen. We haven't seen him on screen since, honestly, Infinity War. He doesn't really show up in Endgame
until the end.
Until the end. But this is like the most we've seen him since Infinity War, and Benedict Cumberbatch is just, dude, he's perfect as Doctor Strange, and he does a spell and everything. It gets botched by Peter, and there's some funny banter between them. It's like, you didn't think about pleading your case before you came to me. Before all the,
but the cool thing when he's doing the spells, I don't want. I want Ned to remember.
And he
so,
like restarts the spell again. And
no, but I want MJ. And he's
like, quit fucking tampering.
Yeah,
with it.
he used to keep tampering with the spell.
Yeah,
and he tampered so many times that he had to cancel the fucking spell.
Basically, he had to contain it because it was getting too much.
Yeah, so he put it inside of a. First, it was like a rock or something, right? Before he put it in the box.
Before he put it in the box.
Yeah. But yeah, you were right. He saw, like, you didn't go and talk to the fucking...
Yeah, and so then that's kind of what happens. And then, of course, things are a bit different now. Some old Spider-Man villains who remember who Peter Parker is come back, like Doc Ock, like Green Goblin. And you kind of... It sets up what the movie's going to be about, which is basically...
You okay over there?
Yeah, we're right. Which is basically Doctor Strange telling Peter Parker, like, look, you fucked this up, so now it's time for you to unfuck this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you this like little Ghostbusters like fucking what they call it?
Fuck.
Trapper keeper, whatever.
Yeah.
And just get these villains all in these cages, and we're gonna send them back. That's basically the whole story.
First act.
Yeah. Then of course Peter Parker kind of change of heart, but he's like, damn, these villains are like lost. They don't know what happened to them. They're kind of broken.
Yeah.
They're realizing what happened. Like, oh shit, I end up dying in my universe, and like I'm alive here. And so Peter's like, there's got to be another way other than just sending them back to their own deaths. And
but Doctor Strange says nope, that's fake.
Yeah,
don't fuck with it.
Can't fuck with that. He has a great line of saying that like their sacrifice infinitely is more important than than being alive or some shit. And then you get this great like almost like chase sequence with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man of them just trying to get that whole prism. Like Spider-Man takes it and shit. And Spider-Man ends up basically just outsmarting Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension of all places, and like just fucking keeping him contained in the was it the Grand Canyon, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. And Spider-Man is like, this is his mission now. He has MJ and Ned to help him out, but like this is his job now. He has to fucking figure out how to fix these villains and to keep them from becoming evil and shit, just like basically reverting them back to good guys. And that was kind of cool to see. Like Doc Ock was kind of neutral. He wasn't really like a bad guy. He was kind of just like, I've seen this shit before. I know it's gonna, just don't fuck with me. Like
just leave me alone.
Yeah, kind of shit. Like, let's just. You don't know what you're doing basically. But Peter's like, that's the first person he ends
also
up like,
with
healing
the
fixing.
but with Electro right away when they introduced him too, he gains more power in this universe,
and he's like, I want more of this shit.
I like it here.
Yeah.
And so right away he doesn't want to get help or anything. He wants wants
more power.
More
basically.
power. Yeah.
And then you basically just get to see him and we get Norman. He's introduced and everything.
They go back to Happy's apartment.
Yeah, and then they start working on trying to like fix each one individually until Green Goblin like shows up. Basically, like he takes over.
He takes over Norman.
Yeah, and then everyone else just kind of just breaks off, and they break free.
Yeah,
Electro does.
Sandman.
It seems like Doc Ock kind of does.
Don't know why he just left.
He just leaves too. The Lizard also manages to escape. All of them escape.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man goes off after. Or not after. No, they fight. He fights Norman or Green Goblin. Sorry.
Yeah, he's trying to stop Norman, but Norman, like, I guess, is too
powerful
for him.
Too powerful for him. And
before we get there, there were. Sorry, when we missed a major part. One, he's fixing each one. Like he fixed
Doc
Ock. Then he gave this reactor thing to Electro
to contain all the electricity inside of him.
And he was working on something, and he got the spider sense.
Yeah, and I like that scene too. You're just trying to figure out
what the hell's going on. Yeah, then he figured out it's Osborn.
It was Green Goblin.
He's trying to do something.
Uh-huh.
And from that on, that's when everyone escaped and everything. No, wait. Before we go there again,
it's not a movie breakdown. We don't have to break down.
But this is a big one because we're going to go to spoiler pretty soon. Aunt May goes to that table. What's it called? Where they're making all the
fabricator.
Yeah, the fabricator. She takes one of the serums for Green Goblin.
For Green Goblin, yeah.
And she leaves with it, and that's when everybody breaks loose.
And then they start fighting.
Yeah, they start fighting, and they end up in the lobby of the
apartment.
Uh-huh.
And they end up fighting, and I think people know where we're going with this. I don't want to spoil this part because I feel like it is like a really emotional thing. But something ends up happening to Peter, and he ends up losing someone. I think people might know who it is. And Green Goblin ends up killing this person.
Yeah.
And boy, was that such a fucking heavy-handed scene, man.
I thought that person was gonna die the same way Green Goblin did.
Me too.
I'm on no.
Me
dude.
too.
Don't do this person this way, man. That's so fucking like the saddest way to go, but it didn't, so that was good. But he or she ends up getting killed, and it was really gut wrenching to see that. You can tell that in that moment that when it happened, like he lost everything.
Yeah.
Basically, that person to him was
everything to him. You know.
Yeah.
The cops are coming after him at this point. Lucky shows up and tells him to run off.
Yeah,
and
like
everything.
leave. Yeah.
He gets shot, I think, maybe, or gets
grazed.
Right?
He grazed in the shoulder. Yeah.
And I was like, damn, it can't get any worse for him. You know.
So he leaves with he just leaves.
He just leaves, and then we're back with like MJ and Ned.
Oh, they have the box. They have it just in case.
Just in case things go awry, they can press the
button and send
these villains back.
But they're waiting for the cue for Peter, but it's not happening.
Yeah, they're like MJ's contemplating like let's just.
But before we get there, Peter leaves Doctor Strange that fucking.
Oh, he takes his sling ring, and he gives it to Ned.
Yeah, Ned has a sling ring,
and you get a little bit of like.
And he just out of nowhere, he just I wish I could see Peter, and
he goes like this. He does a little circle motion like he would, and then like you see the sparks.
And like do it again, like say it again.
I was like, I wish I could see Peter again. Yeah. And this is the part where everyone lost their shit after fucking months of all the speculation, all the rumors. Everyone was just like, are they going to be in it?
Yeah.
Are they not going to be in it? It looks like they are going to be in it. Let me tell you this. No matter how much leaks was shown before this movie came out.
Or rumored or whatever.
And as much as I thought it was going to ruin it for me, it did not disappoint. Ned opens a portal and you see like an alleyway. And you kind of see like a figure. It's like, oh, is it Tom Holland? Is this his Spider-Man?
Yeah.
And
do you know how I knew it was that Spider-Man?
Yeah.
That Spider-Man has a certain walk to him.
He has like a certain swagger kind of to him, right?
I'm all, okay. I know who this is.
And he turns around and he starts to wave and he goes to him and it's Andrew Garfield's fucking Spider-Man.
Oh my God.
Everyone lost their shit in this point. At the point in the movie. And for me, it was like unreal. Because I've heard so many people talk about it was like mythical at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no way they're in this movie. Or if they are, it's not going to live up to my expectation. It fucking lived up to my expectations.
Me too.
I was so fucking giddy with joy. I had
Me
fucking
too.
a smile across my face to see fucking Andrew Garfield come back.
I don't know why they did that. Right after that person died, you fucking feel so fucking sad. You feel for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Then they jump to this shit. It's like, come on, dude. Now I'm happy. Not
Yeah,
in the, like
not
it's
in the bad way,
yeah,
but it kind of just tugs at pulls at your heartstrings.
yeah.
And then MJ and Ned
So-
come to this idea. I was like, if we keep
Saying
saying that shit and then trying to open a portal, maybe we'll get more Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Ned does it again, and a portal appears behind them, and it's fucking... It's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Except he isn't in his suit. He's just wearing regular clothes.
seeing him, like, I clap for that shit.
I clapped, and I also fucking cried. Because Tobey Maguire, he's my Spider-Man. He's who I grew up with.
Oh my God.
To see him come back...
Dude, I'm reliving that
It was-
moment. It's so fucking amazing.
Oh, I have fucking chills, man.
So yeah, he appears.
He appears, and oh my god, it was. Before we continue, MJ was like, prove that you're Spider-Man. He says that she says that to Andrew Garfield, and all he does is just jumps and like sticks to the ceiling with one hand.
With
Like,
one hand.
that's more than enough,
No.
right? No, it was kind of cool to see that,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but then seeing Tobey Maguire again.
Yeah.
He's a lot
And-
older and everything, but he looks so fucking. He's still
yeah.
Spider-Man to me.
The cool thing's like they're trying to put two to two together. It's like, okay, you're from another dimension. He is too.
Yeah,
Just trying to figure out where our Spider-Man is. Tom
Yeah.
Holland. And I like how Toby's all. Where does he go when he wants to be alone?
yeah,
You know that.
yeah.
And what was I know Andrew
Yeah,
Garfield was
On top of the Empire State
big building. Yeah.
and Toby was on top of the Chrysler building. He said.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And so I know where he is, and he's in the school building.
yeah, on top of on the
Yeah.
roof, right
Uh-huh.
on the roof of the school building, and
They find him there.
MJ is like kind of like hugs him
Yeah.
and like all this like there's some people here
See you.
who want to see you, and then you just see them
Just coming
perched on top of the like on a fucking, and they jump down, and it's like, oh my god, we got it, we got three fucking Spider-Man all in
Dude,
one scene.
It feels like it again comes out of a fucking comic book. It was so great.
Yeah,
And again, you can see in his face like he's kind of happy that like, whoa, there's other
Yeah.
versions of me, but at the same time, it's like
But
you guys gotta go.
he's still like grieving.
Yeah.
He's still in this like shocked, fucking anger,
Mm-hmm.
like angered state, and Andrew Garfield.
So I
and,
know
like,
what you're feeling.
I was like,
is,
no, you don't, and Andrew he kind of backs off a little bit.
the one that it was Toby's I lost my Uncle Ben,
Mm-hmm.
and then Andrew comes out as I lost my MJ.
Yeah, Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. And they're trying to make us like, we know what you're going through.
Yeah, like we've been through these tragic moments too, and all that.
Wasn't it? Toby's like, you want to kill him, right? He's like, yeah, I want to, kill him.
Yeah,
And Toby's like, it's not gonna
it
change
doesn't. It doesn't gonna bring her back.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. And,
It was that whole scene too was one of my favorite scenes.
well, the reason why is like, okay, for the longest time you've had Peter Parker with Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
with Tony Stark, and like Tony Stark was like who Peter Parker looked up to and everything. But since Tony Stark was gone, Peter hasn't really had any guidance and any kind of mentorship on becoming Spider-Man. So to see Toby and Andrew telling him like, hey, look, we know how it is to be Spider-Man. This is what we do.
Uh-huh.
We know what it means to have great responsibility, and like it comes with great power and
yeah.
all this shit. And it's like, it was so fucking heart touching to see them basically tell this young Spider-Man, like, we know what you're fucking going through.
Yeah.
And only we will ever know what you're going through
Uh-huh.
because we've been through that shit.
Dude, that was so fucking amazing.
I know. And then they come up with a plan to all come together and cure each villain and send
that was
them
a
back
cool
home.
moment because you know right away if you read the comics he's a smart person. Peter, he's into science and all that shit, and seeing those three
Peters.
Peters working on that was great too.
Yeah, and they were just talking back and forth, like, "Oh, how do you fucking shoot web out of your wrist?" And it's like,
they were so surprised by Toby's
natural webs and everything, and it was so fucking. I can't get over it. Like, we're talking about Andrew and Toby and Tom Holland.
Look, if this is how it's gonna sound fucked up, but that it really, how do you say, that whole scene when they appeared took like the whole movie. What I'm trying to say is, like, if I want to see it, I don't want to see the fucking first act anymore. I want to see when they appear. Because whole when they show up until the end was fucking great.
Look,
you know,
I don't want. This was one of my worries too. Was that going into this movie, I wasn't going to care about anything until they showed up. I don't want to say anything bad about the film. Let me just say it. Everything's great about this movie. But once they come in, it kicks it up to fucking like to 11, you know? And but that's not to say that the rest of the movie isn't bad or it sucks before they show up. No, everything's so fucking good. But it gets even better when they fucking show up.
Yes.
Oh my god. And then finally, we're gonna skim a lot about it because I don't want to break down the whole movie.
Yeah.
It all culminates with all three Spider-Man on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And them luring the villains out, and you just get these amazing fucking fight scenes.
Well, first you get a sweet moment between all three.
Oh yeah.
They talk about
before they're waiting. Yeah.
So that was so cool. Like. They talk about like their webbing, you know.
Their webbing, what villains they fought.
Yeah, the villains. And they throw some like, I fought an alien.
Yeah.
You know this.
He was purple. And I think Andrew's like, I want to fight an alien. He's like, I'm so lame. But all they have fought was fucking
a lizard.
And a rhino guy.
Yeah, and he's all, it's like he can still feel that he's still recovering of what happened with Gwen Stacy and and her dad too, because he's like, I'm not a good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's on Toby's like, no man, you are.
Maggie, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Like, believe me, you're amazing. Yeah. To hear that is almost like it was Toby saying that to Andrew, saying like, you don't listen to fucking haters. You're a fucking great Spider-Man. Like that. It was just so fucking touching. And there was that little like funny moment with like Peter getting ready and it was like trying to crack his back.
Yeah, the Toby one.
Yeah, Toby like, oh yeah, just my back hurts. I have this thing.
He was I've been from fighting all the time, but
and, Yeah, it's because of what he did in Spider-Man 2. And then Andrew Garfield was like, no, I know what you mean.
So let me help you. Let me crack your back.
He cracks his fucking. Just that whole scene was.
Hell yeah.
I never thought I'd see Andrew cracking fucking. Toby's back, and oh my god, it was so fucking cool. Then
the villains show up.
The villains show up. They're kind of rusty, sort of, because they all kind of admit like we never fought in a team before. We've always done this by ourselves.
Say we're not good. Yeah, we're not good as working as a team.
And that's when you finally see, not finally, but you get to see Tom Holland kind of take charge.
That was cool.
As like a leader. It's like, I don't want to brag, but I've been a part of the Avengers.
And Toby's like,
wow, the Avengers? Like, who are they?
So what, you don't have Avengers?
It was like, is that like, are you a part of a band? Like, that's so cool. It was like, that was so fucking awesome.
So never mind, we just gotta work together. So Spider-Man 2, I mean, yeah.
No, Peter 1, Peter 2. Like, I thought I was Peter 2. And, it was so fucking cool. Them just swinging around, like passing the cures around so they can cure the fucking villains.
Yeah.
They managed to get everybody. I think Doc Ock comes around and like helps him, and he ends up like destabilizing Electro's like little
and then
arc reactor and basically cures him that way.
Andrew cures him, and there was this moment between them.
Yeah, you get to, and Max was like, you never saw me, like I'm a nobody, I'm nothing. And
Andrew's like, no man, you're a smart person, you're this and that. So what was it? I think he was saying like you come from Queens, you're
Yeah.
poor, this and
I was
that.
like, I thought you were gonna be black. So, oh, I'm sorry, man. And I was like, no, it's alright. So there's gonna be a black Spider-Man, someone else. Like,
And everybody
out there.
clapped. Like,
Everyone clapped because you know what the fuck that means.
Yes.
Miles, you know. And then you get this little moment between Dr. Octavius and Toby.
oh my god, that was so cool.
It was cool. He was like the power of the sun in my hand, and then like Toby shows up and they talk for a little bit, and it's like, how are you doing? You look all grown up. And I was like, I'm doing better. I'm trying to be better. And I was like, oh, that was so fucking cool. And then Green Goblin shows up. Shit fucking just gets chaotic. Doctor Strange ends up showing up again.
Didn't that because of fucking Ned opened the portal?
Yeah, he opened the portal and Doctor Strange showed up.
Yeah.
Which was funny because he was like, I was in the Grand Canyon for 12 hours, and Andrew's like, could he really use your help? You were in the Grand Canyon? That was pretty funny.
This is the wizard we're talking about.
Everyone's calling him the wizard and shit. And then Tom Holland goes after Green Goblin. Well, what Green Goblin does, he takes the prism, that box,
Then he throws
he puts a bomb in it and explodes, causing basically more rifts
to
open, and you get to see these little silhouettes of different villains that know who Spider-Man is, and Doctor Strange is trying to contain this. All the while, Tom Holland.
To me, this is the moment for me of this film. After Green Goblin did that, he sees Peter's friends, and he throws like one of these bombs.
Oh yeah, right.
And they fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And MJ falls off. In
Yeah,
the trailer.
falls off of the
And you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man go after her.
Trying to grab her, yeah.
Then that's when Green Goblin grabs him and takes him away, and we're all fuck no.
Yeah.
And
oh my god.
Andrew sees what's going on, and he's the one who
he jumps after her and saves her.
Redemption.
Fucking dude, I fucking started crying.
Me too.
Because he was like, "Are you okay?" And then I was like, "Yeah, are you okay?"
And he
starts to really like choke up. You know, I was like, "Yeah." Like, he nods and like, "I'm gonna be okay."
Dude, that whole scene.
That was just, my god, man, that really got me. Because that was such a heart-wrenching moment in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And it was a moment that was left unredeemable, you know, because we didn't get to see a third movie. To finally see that moment
to get his
redemption was just
great.
It was great.
Oh my god, I'm so quiet because
you're just like reliving it, right?
Then it gets saved by the fucking cave, okay?
Yeah. Let's start to kind of get going here. Tom Holland just gets into a fist fight with Green Goblin. You really see him not pull his punches anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man is fucking up Green Goblin. And what I liked about the scene was that there was not really any music. It was just them fucking duking it out. Mm-hmm. And it felt really like really heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh shit. Is he really going to go through with this? Because he ends up getting him like on his knees at one point, and he grabs the fucking glider, and Tom Holland's about to like impale Green Goblin again, and then Toby
is the one that
prevents him and saves him from doing that, and then he gets stabbed by Green Goblin.
Fucking shithead.
That asshole. Andrew Garfield throws the serum over to Peter, and Peter injects Green Goblin. And Green Goblin is no longer there. He's Norman again.
So what did he do? He's like, shut up, motherfucker.
What did I end up doing? He's like, did you
yeah,
you can even tell Tom Holland's like, you know what, just stay down. Andrew Garfield comes over to aid Toby and is like, are you alright? Are you gonna be okay? And I've been stabbed before. He's like, is this really happening or am I dying? He's like, no, this is happening. And he's talking about the rifts above him and everything.
And that's when Tom Holland goes to Doctor Strange, like, what's going on? He's like, more people.
Yeah, I can't contain it. More people are coming in that know
who you are
and all that.
He says, fine. let the whole world know I'm not Spider-Man. So are you sure?
They let everybody forget who I am.
And they had a sweet moment, like go say your goodbyes because this is it.
And Peter's like, "Thank you, sir." And it's like, "Call me Steven." And
thank you.
And you know he's saying that because he's not gonna have that moment to do that again.
Yeah.
And so he goes off and says his goodbyes to
the Spider-Man.
Yeah, and you can see him kind of almost like, "Oh, I just want to tell you how much," like, and you know, you guys really just thank you.
So
for
we know.
Like we know it's what we do. And I was like, that's so fucking cool.
And then
man.
he leaves. The cool part is Andrew says to Tony, "You're in pain, right?" He's like, "Yeah."
It was just so fucking cool. Yeah, and then Peter says his goodbyes. He tells.
Fuck, that also was.
That was a moment, man.
This is what he pulls on your heart.
It really does, right? Yeah, he tells him like, "You guys are gonna forget who I am.
But I'm gonna make you remember." And this
yeah,
and
I was like, I think even MJ says like, "Don't say I love you yet until you see me again." And Ned is like, "Are you sure you're gonna promise me?" He's like, "I'll find you. Don't worry, you'll be okay. I'll make you remember me." He goes off. Doctor Strange manages to contain the spell, and everyone goes basically back to their own universe. And then we're just left with Peter going to tracking down MJ in the donut shop, and he's reading this like letter to himself to try to reintroduce himself to her, but he ends up stopping himself when he sees that MJ is like happy, you know, for the first time in a long time. One of the things she says, I think she says like, expect disappointment because it won't be
it's disappointing or
whatever
something
like that, you know. He ends up saying that to her after he finds out that she's going to MIT, as well as Ned. Ned seems to be doing good for himself too. Like they found each other, like they're friends.
Yeah.
But of course, Peter's not in that group anymore, in the friends anymore.
And that was
that was pretty sad, you know.
And he's all what do you say? I'll see you later.
Yeah, I was like, I'll see you around
guys,
and everything. He gets his own apartment.
Well, first he goes to the graveside of.
He goes to go see MJ, or MJ, Aunt May's grave.
And Happy shows up.
Happy shows up and they talk. Happy. He's also been through a lot. He even says too, like, I lost
a friend,
an old friend of mine, and this is how it feels, and all this stuff. And it's like, sometimes I wonder if what they stood for also kind of goes away along with them. And Peter's like, no, don't worry. Like,
no,
he'll make sure that. And I think he says by he, the Spider-Man, he's saying the Spider-Man will make sure that what she stood for will continue on. So such a sweet moment between those two.
Then you see that, he gets his own apartment.
Yeah, I don't think he graduated high school because he's doing like a GED test.
He dropped out,
He's living by himself.
Which is weird because he's, 18 maybe?
18, 19 maybe? Yeah. And then we get to see him don
a new costume.
A very classic fucking costume of Spider-Man. Just think,
what'd you say?
An animated Spider-Man. That's kind of the suit he had.
You don't think he got inspiration from the other ones?
I think so.
Because they were that's their classic costumes. And he's like, I'm probably gonna
take some inspiration from his. And it was nice to see because if you think about it, man, his suits were from Tony Stark.
That's true. Yeah.
And that was his way of kind of letting go of that, and he's making his own suit now.
Yeah, you can see the sewing machine that
he sewed it and everything. So that was kind of him, just like that's it,
letting go of the past.
Yeah. And starting anew, and he's Spider-Man.
And there you
again, and then that's how it ends.
You guys, there's after credit. You'll watch that. We're not
gonna talk about the post-credit scene. There's a post-credit scene, so stick around for that.
But that was it. That was the movie.
It was so fucking good. If you guys want to watch it, I would recommend trying to get your tickets now. Or I'm pretty sure you already got them. I don't know. We're gonna try to watch it again.
That's how great it was.
That's how fucking. And it's a 2-hour and like 40-minute movie.
That shit was long.
It was long, but that's how much like I don't mind willing sitting through 2 hours and 40 minutes because it's so fucking good. You said that this is one of your favorite movies. I'll also say this is one of my favorite movies of the year. It's really high up there.
Jesus,
it is really high up, and it's a great way to end the year.
Yeah.
I sure fucking wish this came out in the summer, but we got it at the tail end of the year, and you know what better way to cap off 2021, you know?
Before we end, to all those assholes who have their own platform, you know, in Twitter or whatever, YouTube, criticizing Tom Holland's Spider-Man because he has no, like, sacrifice, no consequences,
all that kind of shit.
I'm just gonna say, are you guys happy now? He lost basically everything.
Oh.
That means because he, you know, Doctor Strange did the spell. That means he was technically, like, it doesn't matter that he was an Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
He lost Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
He lost
Aunt May
and
Ben.
and Ben. What do you mean Ben?
Ben. He lost Ben too.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben.
And Happy too, because Happy doesn't remember it.
Yeah, Happy doesn't know who he
He
is.
lost his friends.
He lost his friends. He dropped out of high school, so he's not in college.
So, what do you?
Are you fucking satisfied?
Yeah,
you know?
He has basically no one. He's on his own.
Which I get it. A lot of people are saying that, like, that's what I wanted, because in the comic books, he's always trying to juggle between being Spider-Man and, like, I get it, you know, and you finally get that in this movie. Of him actually becoming Spider-Man.
But losing everything though, like, fuck, man.
I know. But I feel like it had to be done. You know, I'm not saying he had to lose everything. Like, something big like this had to really happen for him to become Spider-Man. You know, because even in Far From Home and Homecoming, he was still kind of being mentored. He was still kind of being assisted. And in this one, yeah, he was assisted, but
at the end, he
still had to make that tough decision for himself. You know, so yeah, it was a great movie. Expect a few other episodes coming out, but other than that, I think we're gonna kind of end the year with just a few short episodes and everything, and we'll come back next year to talk about our game of the years and movies of the year and everything.
Another stuff.
Comic books as well. We'll do that. We should probably save this for, like, the last episode of the year or whatever, but I just want to thank everyone who has listened to us since we started this podcast this year. I know we've all been through a lot of shit with the pandemic and a lot of personal stuff in our lives, but this podcast has always been an escape for me and my brother to just talk about the things that we loved, and to have Maurice on the podcast was amazing. An A1
great moments. That was another great moment.
We're hoping to bring him back too, and we're hoping to do even better next year. Hopefully, we'll be doing the video podcast, or, you know, having better audio equipment.
Yep.
So thank you for sticking with us. You know who you are out there. And yeah, we'll see you guys next year. This has been Two Brothers.
Two Brothers.
Two Brothers.
Two Brothers.